Yo, what's up fam? My name is Fellgy and let's get right into this video.
In my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams.
So if you guys are here, you guys are wondering what the number one myth for losing fat is. And I'm going to tell you guys that right now. It is that you need to restrict certain foods or eat certain foods to actually lose fat. Now that is a complete myth because all you have to do is get your body into a caloric deficit to lose body weight, fat. Now there's ways to target fat better and maintain other parts of your body, like your muscle obviously. But when it comes down to actually just straight up losing body weight, all you have to do is get your body into a caloric deficit. And you can do those pretty much two ways: with your training, which includes your cardiovascular endurance, and with your nutrition. So as soon as you burn more calories than your body actually requires, your body is actually going to go to other places for energy, which in this case we want to be your fat. But it can also be your muscle, which we don't want, and then that's when the foods actually come into play and all these other things come into play. Overall fat loss, you just have to be in a caloric deficit, which means, yeah, you could technically be eating like chicken fingers, burgers, cake, but the thing is, you're going to hit your caloric threshold really fast. So say if you're only supposed to be eating like 1800 calories, your maintenance is something like 2200. So whatever, you're in that deficit by whatever it is, 400, 500 calories, and you go and have a burger, which I'm assuming a big burger is gonna be close to 1000 calories. Now that is one meal. Now you have to survive for the rest of the day. Say you go eat a cake, or like a big piece of cake, and then there's another 800 calories. Now in two meals, not even meals, you've just hit your caloric intake. You can no longer eat anymore. You're going to be in a deficit still, but the problem with eating those specific foods is now you've lost out on a shit ton of proper macronutrients that are going to help with your training, your mood, your energy, and all the micronutrients that are going to help with everything else, your cognitive function, every little there's so many different things that you can boost by eating the right foods. So when you get into that side of things, so the fat loss, you just have to be in a caloric deficit. Now when you want to say maintain muscle mass, now that's when macros are going to come into play, and same with energy. So your carbs, huge source of energy. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough carbs so that your body is feeling energized, you're able to lift properly, you can do your cardiovascular training, and you're still able to go about your day and have energy and not be a walking zombie. Secondly, your protein. Your protein is extremely important, especially when you're cutting and you're trying to lose fat. You want to be, a good benchmark is about 1 gram of protein per body weight. So for myself, I'm 170 pounds. I want to be getting in 170 grams of protein a day. So if you go and have that piece of cake and the burger, there is definitely not 160 grams of protein in there. So you're probably going to lose a lot of muscle as well, because your body doesn't care. It just wants energy, it wants to feed off of something. And if you're not giving the proper macronutrients to recover and replenish your muscle mass, then you're going to end up losing some of it during your cut. Then you have your fats. Now, fats, they're important for other bodily functions. Your body needs fat. No matter what, you cannot cut it out completely. It's not good for you. There's a reason it's a macro. When it comes to micronutrients, obviously, you want to make sure that you're having your vegetables, your fruits. And the good thing about those things is that you can eat a lot of them, and it's not going to really rack up your calories, and instead you're going to get a lot of micronutrients, which is going to improve your mood, recovery, and your energy. If you're having that cake again and the burger, you're not getting all those micronutrients from, say, your vegetables and your fruit. Now when cutting, every single person is different. So with these macronutrients, you can play around with them. There's no set amount that every single person has to have. I've even juggled between a different ratio here and there. I know for myself, my body loves carbs. Cutting out carbs completely is very hard. I feel like shit. Nobody wants to feel like shit. Some people are able to do it and they've seen good results from it. But for the most part, your carbs usually want to be like the highest of the three, just because your body can burn through them. And you got to remember also, your carbs, 1 gram of carbohydrates is going to be 4 calories. Same for your proteins. Now with fats, and this is why you want to keep them lower, but you still want to have some of them, your fats, 1 gram is actually 9 calories. So you can eat twice as many proteins and carbohydrates and still stay under your caloric intake or your threshold that you've set for yourself. Now back to the very beginning, what I was saying is that you don't need to restrict yourself on any foods. So if there are some days where you're craving a certain food, you just want it to fit in your calories. And some days, you know what, you might not hit all of your macronutrients, but it's important that for the most part, 90% of the time, you are getting your macronutrients in and obviously hitting that protein, because you are cutting, you don't want to be losing muscles. That's very important. But you don't have to restrict anything. You can change up your foods. You don't always have to be eating the same thing. If one day you want to go and have a cheat meal, you can, and you can actually make it fit into your calories and your macros. You just have to be willing to figure out what the macros are and how much calories are in the meal, and just switch it up between what you actually are eating during that day. It's gonna help a lot if you have a meal plan. That way it's very easy to just like take that new meal or that cheat meal and see what you can kind of substitute around to then fit it into your daily caloric intake. A great thing about this too is that it's not very strict, and as you get really good at this and you start to realize what kind of foods you can actually eat and substitute and still get under your caloric threshold, you can start to eat intuitively, which is actually what I do now. Based on all my experience from before, from doing multiple shows, I've done over 8 different shows, knowing all the different calories and macros for each food, I can pretty much guesstimate. It's obviously like 200 calories off here or there, but for the most part, unless I'm actually cutting down for a show, I don't have to go and weigh that food to figure out exactly what's in it, because we are just trying to be healthy right now. But if you are going to be doing a competition, I extremely recommend you weighing out everything to the T, because it's very important, especially when you get your body to that kind of ultra shredded state. This video, we are not talking about that. Anyways, I hope this video helps you guys in some way. Don't get too caught up on all the little things. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
In my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we